A ver cómo sigue esto. La acusación. Qué buen momento. Ya se va a pudrir todo.
I was reaching the end of my investigation. No idea if Catherine could even look me in the eye. I'd promised Tony Morgan I'd find his daughter, and I'd betrayed my own in the process.
Me entra esa duda. Me falta alguien.
I should have listened to Catherine and left the investigation to the police.
Hay alguien más involucrado en esto, pero no sé
Tony
quién.
Morgan didn't need my help. Perhaps I'd failed everyone. Only time would tell, and Shirley Downs held the key.
¿Y por qué? Asumiendo que hay una lógica en esto.
Thank you for coming.
What do you want, Dad? I told you I didn't want to.
I promise I'm not wasting your time.
What do you want?
Igual hay una duda que me queda. En el primer capítulo nosotros vimos que hubo un secuestro hace un par de años. No sé qué tiene que ver eso. Es como si fuese algo, un secuestrador en serie.
It's my job to follow up all leads.
Then please, I'll show you what I've been working on these past few days.
Ah, le va a mostrar. No, pará, estamos fuera del departamento.
Investigating again. Please don't humiliate me, Dad.
¿Qué hacen todos acá?
Here is the man of Thank you all for coming. I imagine you share some notion of why I asked you here. In short, to discuss the disappearance of Charlotte May.
Qué buena escena, mira.
And also to apologize to each and every one of you. I'm sure you know by
esta seguramente va a ser la miniatura.
Investigating every possible area of her disappearance. And that has meant looking closely at Daily View.
Sí, algunos más cerca.
Spying on us. A crude interpretation.
Totalmente de acuerdo con el pelado.
It's illegal. Surely.
I've broken no laws, I can assure you.
That we know of. This is an invasion of privacy. You're a police officer. How can you let him do this?
It's not illegal to ask questions, Mrs. McKee.
What about breaking and entering? How'd you feel about that? Hey?
Are you pressing charges, Mr. Levy?
I don't know why this.
Te quedaste callado, pela,
Still need to address the fact that there's an attacker at
Let
large.
Mr. Conway speak.
Gracias, viejita. Gracias. La viejita la tiene altada. No sé por qué desconfiamos.
Well, with my apology out of the way, let's talk about what I've uncovered.
Bien. A ver. Pará, de McKees, Harold Levy y Lady Door. ¿Qué tengo que acusar o vamos a hablar de...? No entiendo. Bueno, a ver.
Annabelle and Theo. The two of you clearly have problems of your own to work through.
Vos te acostás con el pelado.
Nerve of you, Mr. Conway.
And you should have reported that dog that you hit with the car. It would have saved a lot of time, and perhaps we would have found Charlotte May by now. But I have no reason at all to think you could have taken Charlotte May.
O sea, la mina esa se está acostando con el pelado.
I have nothing more to say.
Eso es lo único que tenemos ahí. Y el tipo tiene algo de dinero que no sé de dónde salió. A ver. Harold Levy, Lady Door. Parece que estamos hablando, así que podemos usar todo.
You don't like me very much. I can live with that. You said it yourself. As long as I pay my rent on time, we won't have a problem. In the future, it might do you well to extend that courtesy to neighbors going through certain hardships. Well, not every problem can be solved with your fists. I believe you owe Mr. Morgan an apology.
What's he talking about?
God knows.
Other than that,
Claro, fue cuando lo cagó a piña al padre de la desaparecida.
Kidnapping a girl. I have nothing more for you.
Oh, that was a waste of time then.
Bueno.
Lady Dower, I thank you for permitting me to search your home.
Re grosa la viejita. Aparte llena de guita.
You really
Tenía los
pay more
pozos ese de
attention to
oro.
whom you employ to clean your estate.
Hindsight is a blessing.
I don't think you had anything to do with Charlotte May's disappearance. It's a shame that your home was violated in such a way. Again, I extend my apologies that you've been dragged into this.
Water under the bridge, Mr. Conway.
Agua debajo del
Finally,
puente. Ah, y acá
come to
estás.
Shirley Downs.
Hacete la boluda. No me mires a los ojos.
Perpetrator. A completely innocent bystander the night that 𝐤𝐿𝐴 was taken. The perfect alibi.
Ah.
Were it not all based on lies.
Claro, lo hizo por coartada, no lo hizo porque realmente pasó.
What?
O sea, el ataque fue falso.
No, you all saw what happened.
Shirley, please, let us dispense with the song and dance.
Shirley?
¿Shirley?
What is he talking about?
I have no idea, Annabelle. I can assure you of that. Just what on earth are you getting at, Mr. Conway?
I bloody know it.
Ah, mira.
Dark horse.
Shut up. I had nothing to do with 𝐤𝐿𝐴's disappearance, I promise you.
Mr. Conway, I think you might have made a mistake.
Catherine, would you mind?
Please, I think it's time we talk to Miss Downs alone. Could we have the room?
I think I should stay. She's my sister and she needs
Mrs. McKee, please. Everyone, in fact. Leave now.
I think it's best you leave too, Mr. Morgan. Don't worry, I'll update you later on this evening once I know more.
No sé por qué desconfío de este viejo.
I'll be fine, Annabelle. They're making a huge mistake.
Es lo único que tendría sentido que esté ayudando a... Hay algo con ese chabón.
That means you too, Mr. Levy.
No way. I would have missed this if you paid me.
You fool.
Uy, qué buena escena.
This what you wanted, was it?
How very disappointing. Good work, Mr. Conway.
La viejita burgués. Con todos los lingotes de oro.
Shirley, please, take a seat. Now, where should I begin?
Look, I don't know what this is about, but I think you made a huge mistake.
No creo que lo vaya a
I'm sorry.
admitir.
Catherine, is it? Can you talk some sense into him?
I think we should hear what he has to say.
This is ridiculous.
If you have nothing to hide, then surely you'd relish the chance to prove your innocence.
You watched me get attacked. That proves that the kidnapper is still out there.
O fue una coartada para que pensemos eso.
Let's start there then, shall we? How will you explain this, I wonder?
Perhaps you want to explain how you found that.
Ah,
with
quiero retruco te dijo.
before.
Well, I'm sure it will come to that. But for now, we're talking about you.
Igual técnicamente el que abrió la caja fuerte fue el padre de la nena.
You have nothing to say? There's no getting around this, Shirley.
You're not listening. It wasn't me.
Están rebugueadas las pestañas.
What's that supposed to be?
Why don't you tell me? It was found in your pub.
Ese fue el cristal que se robaron de la caja de evidencias.
Every day. Glasses smash. I don't know what's special about a piece of glass.
It sounds plausible.
Well, there you have it.
Well, Mr. Crow didn't seem to think so. He told me you took it from the police evidence room.
Ah, el dueño del bar dijo eso.
Prove it.
I intend to. I'm sure Mr. Crow will be willing to testify. Let's move on. What do you have to say about this?
You've been watching me. Annabelle was right. This is an invasion of privacy.
Well, isn't that what you wanted?
What are you talking about?
Well, for someone to see your charade. The whole business with the so-called intruder. You set the whole thing up.
Pero esa es la foto del pelado.
How could I have? Why would I?
You did it so that Tony Morgan would see you as the victim, and therefore not as his attacker.
Está mal la foto, pero bueno, se entiende igual.
You were very convincing.
This is all in your mind, Mr. Conway. You have no evidence at all.
Well, we'll see. Let's continue, shall we? Well, I suppose that's that. Catherine, is what you've heard enough to arrest Miss Downs?
I'm sorry, it's not conclusive enough, I'm afraid.
Puta madre.
Then, I suppose I was wrong. I should have gone with my gut and accused Annabelle.
What?
Again, I'm sorry I've wasted your time.
Ah, mirá el truco que le está haciendo.
Still close by.
Wait, Mr. Conway.
Está yendo contra la hermana para que esta salte a defenderle y diga la verdad.
Do you possibly think Annabelle has to do with this?
Well, I shouldn't discuss this with you, but all those late nights whilst Thea was gigging, no one able to verify her whereabouts. And then, of course, there's the matter of the, well, like I said, I shouldn't discuss this with you. I apologize, Miss Downs. Let's see if we have enough to arrest your sister.
Wait.
What is it?
For God's sake. I hid the telescope in my safe, but I was hiding it for someone else.
The truth, Shirley. All this conversation is over.
Okay, I hit Mr. Morgan, but I swear I thought he was someone else.
Ah, ella le pegó,
Your
bien.
sister has to say about
I'm
that.
telling you the truth. Annabelle had nothing to do with it.
Where is Charlotte May?
I didn't take her. That's why I hid the telescope in the first place, so the police wouldn't suspect that I took her.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
I didn't take Charlotte May.
So
¿por qué le
let
pegó?
me get this straight.
¿Por qué le pegó al viejo?
And it's very important that you're clear. The telescope is the attack weapon.
Sí. Decí que sí.
From Lady Dowa's hallway.
Bueno.
I saw my sister having an affair from Lord Dowa's window.
Ah, con el pelado. Vio la...
I overreacted.
Vio que la hermana estaba con el pela.
You took the shard of glass from the police evidence room.
Well, yes, because it proved that I hit Mr. Morgan. But I thought I was hitting Harold Levy.
You faked the attack against you.
Sí.
Yes.
Sí, bien, bien, bien. Vamos por buen camino.
Kidnapper is still out there. I couldn't come forward and say what I'd done because people would think I took Charlotte May.
You attacked Tony Morgan.
I already told you. I thought I was hitting Harold Levy. He was kissing my sister, Annabelle. A married woman, Theo's wife.
¿Y por qué no hablaste con tu hermana en vez de pegarle al pelado? Bueno, confundirte y querer pegarle al pelado.
I'm not lying.
Aparte de terrible
You
diferencia.
took Charlotte May that night.
I did not.
Then you put her in Lady Dowa's basement. Why?
I'm not saying another word.
You knocked me from my chair and then staged the attack on yourself to throw me off the scent.
That's all in your head.
Where is Charlotte May? Is that enough to arrest Miss Downs?
Y por el ataque sí.
I believe so, yes.
Then I think I've heard just about all I need to. Catherine, may I have a word?
¿No la va a arrestar? Puede escapar. Todo el panel de evidencia.
It looks like you were onto something after all.
Yes, it looks that way.
Let's wrap this up then, shall we?
Wait a moment.
No lo toques, no lo desordenes, no lo...
Now, what I was doing. What I had to do.
I do.
Well then, what's wrong? With a little more time, Shirley will tell us where Charlotte May is. You can arrest her. This
Y el problema es que no lo resolvió
To
ella.
me. You betrayed my trust after you promised me.
Ah, bueno, aparte de eso.
I'm so glad that you were right. I really am, but that doesn't change how you did it.
Catherine, we did it. You and I.
No, sí, sí, la está sumando al equipo, pero...
I truly am sorry. There were moments where I knew I was crossing a line, but I did it.
You've told me already.
And I meant it. Please. I'm going to update Mr. Morgan later on and tell him what we found. It would mean a lot to me if you were by my side. What do you say?
I don't think so, Dad. I'm sorry.
Catherine, please.
Upa.
Miss Downs, I'm arresting you on suspicion of the abduction of Charlotte May Morgan and an attempt to obstruct an active and ongoing...
Ah, claro, la obstaculizar la investigación tiene sentido. Y el ataque también. El otro me parece que no.
Shirley has confessed to almost everything I've thrown at her, but she's refused to give me the location of Charlotte May. I hope to God she's still alive. It's out of my hands and up to Catherine now. I've reached the end of my investigation. But at what cost?
Sí, perdiste la confianza de tu hija. Sigue desaparecida 6 horas más tarde. Perdiste la confianza. Bueno.
I'd return this brooch when I found Charlotte May. The news of Shelley's arrest will have to do for now.
¿Por qué el chabón tiene la prueba del... La prueba?
Now that all's said and done, I suppose I should tidy all this away. They were all innocent. Everyone apart from Shirley. How did she manage to hide who she really was from everyone?
Para mí falta algo. No sé. Uno de estos. O el viejo. Pero para mí falta algo. Porque no puede terminar así. O tal vez soy yo el que quiere que no termine así y me estoy rebuscando ante una idea totalmente innecesaria. Ah, mira, acá está el ramo de flores de...
I was hoping to return to Mr. Morgan with his daughter. Not this hollow gesture.
No creo que haya nada más. Si no hay nada más interesante, directamente salimos. Bueno, salimos nomás. Asumo que tenemos que ir donde el viejo. No había nada interesante. Revisé todo el departamento de vuelta. O apartamento, no sé qué será. Acá debe estar todavía el bug este. Ahí sí. Bien.
How will Mr. Morgan take the news, I wonder? He's been through enough.
Ah, me colgué la salida. Ah, mira. ¿Cambiaron? No, no cambiaron el cartel. Bueno, acá dice dónde vive cada uno. No sé si lo había mostrado en otro capítulo ya. Y acá hacemos el super salto. ¡Uy!
No sign of Catherine, though. She's not coming.
Ah, me pasé. Bien.
Hello, Mr. Conway.
Mr. Morgan, how are you?
As well as can be expected, I suppose. I have to say, I wasn't expecting you so soon.
I apologize.
¿Por qué mira la ventana?
I thought you might want an update regarding Shirley Downs.
Of course, yes. Why don't you step inside for a moment and, well, please come in. You can leave your things down there if you like.
Thank you.
Ah, bueno. Ah, la flor, es cierto.
Please. You were saying?
Yes. In short, it went well.
She confessed?
Well, not to all of it, but I have reason to believe she's confessing right now in police custody. She confessed to hitting you over the head and to pretending she was attacked. We found the weapon and, well, the list goes on.
Claro, pero no tenemos prueba de que ella la haya secuestrado.
She refused to admit it. She was adamant.
But you said she confessed to hitting me.
Claro, ¿y qué pasó después?
There's more to the story, I'm afraid. She swears blind that she thought she was hitting Harold Levy.
What? Okay, I don't know what that means.
Por eso, o sea, tenemos razones para creer que le pegó al pelado porque pensaba que el pelado...
Where is my daughter, Mr. Conway?
Porque sabía que el pelado se estaba encamando con la hermana. Salvando el hecho que no tiene coherencia eso,
I won't stop until
no tenemos razones para pensar que quería secuestrar a la pendeja.
I'm sorry. That was unfair of me.
I understand.
Por eso yo asumo...
Who has to apologize?
Perdón.
I told you I would find your daughter.
Yo asumo que hay un tercero. Otra persona.
I don't blame you. You've done all you can. I'm sorry. Where are my manners? Please, come and sit through here. Perhaps you'd like a cup of tea, Mr. Conway.
Cup of tea.
3 sugars, isn't it?
¿Cómo sabía?
Yes, that's right.
No llegué a hacer clic yo,
Make yourself at home. I'll be back momentarily.
Thank you.
Te juro que no llegué a hacer clic. Estaba por hacer clic y directamente me mandó... Ok, tenemos que investigar. No. ¿Tenemos que investigar? ¿Por qué tenemos que investigar acá?
How long have you lived in DADV? It must have been before I moved here.
Yes, about 4 years or so. I remember the day you moved here. I should have introduced myself then. I'm sorry about that.
Not to worry. I should have done the same. Where is Charlotte May's mother, if I'm not intruding? Aren't you married?
That's a very long story, I'm afraid. What about yourself? Isn't there a Mrs. Conway?
Well, that's an even... What exactly is your line?
Uy, le corté el mam, perdón.
I'm a dentist.
Really? I imagine that pays a good wage.
Well, I'm a dental assistant, if I'm being honest with you, but I'm training to be an anaesthetist, so there's that.
Interesting.
Puta madre, se traba. Quiero ver acá.
Oh, that reminds me. I've brought the brooch back that I found at the crime scene.
Thank you so much. I hope it was of some...
Se ve raro. ¿Vieron cómo hicieron la... ¿Cómo hicieron las caras? ¿Mierda? No entiendo. No es.
This isn't Charlotte May. It's a different girl altogether.
Charlotte May.
Wearing Charlotte
Sexto
May's
cumpleaños. Tiene el mismo broche.
brooch. Another girl.
Otra.
Jesus, what is this?
¿También? Ay, no.
Morgan, what have you done?
Ay, no. Mierda. Ok.
I said I hope the brooch was of some use.
Yes. I mean, no. I wasn't able to connect it to anything.
Sabía que el viejo tenía que ver.
Mr. Conway.
Sabía que el viejo tenía que ver.
You seem a little out of sorts.
Yes, I'm fine. I don't think I'll have that tea after all. I'm sorry to put you out, but I remembered I have to hand over all of my findings to Catherine. She'll probably be waiting for
Ay, se dio cuenta. Bueno, gente, parece que nos van a cagar matando. Parece que nuestro destino termina acá.
Such an innocent age, wouldn't you say? Charlotte wouldn't have known what real danger was back then. Not like you and I.
Well, we all have to grow up at some point, don't we? You'll excuse me, but I really must.
Are you sure you're okay, Mr. Conway?
No, temo por mi vida.
Discomfort. Is it something I've done?
Like I said.
Y sí, como que parece que secuestras pendeja de 6 años. Y vio la foto. Bueno, gente, muchas gracias. Acá se termina nuestra partida. Acá nos van a cagar matando.
You know, I thought that I was careful enough, but the way you think, you really are very clever, Mr. Conway. To your detriment.
No, ¿para qué querés? ¿En serio querés cruzar por enfrente de él, hermano?
It's funny. I spent the past few days wondering who on earth would attack me. I was as confused as everyone else. Turns out it was all just a misunderstanding. Have you ever heard anything so unlikely? I was going to leave town that night. I'd left her in Doe's basement. Things were almost in place. I was putting the rubbish out, and then... well... and then Shirley Downs.
She's still alive, isn't she?
I really am glad you decided to investigate. The mystery was eating me up inside. You know, I watched you work these past few days. Watched as you pulled our neighbours' lives apart piece by piece.
Bueno,
To work with you at Shirley's pub and seeing...
ahora sale una copeta recortada, nos vuela la cabeza.
It was very exciting.
Mierda, a ver. Dale. Vámonos. ¿No? ¿No nos vamos?
It's funny, I felt that if I could just
Mierda.
reach out... Of course, I couldn't.
From what I remember, you reached out with your fist.
O sea, él fue el que nos...
You almost caught me that night, you know.
Él fue el que nos pegó en la casa de la vieja.
Doe's basement. You were so close, but still so far. You know, I've never had to go back and check before. But after you promised me you'd find her, I had to think on my feet. She cried when she saw me. I suppose she was seeing me for the first time in many ways.
She? You mean the girl that, some other poor child you've taken? The real Charlotte May is dead, yes? Why did you do this?
Charlotte May was 6 when she... You see, after so many years, well, they stop looking like children, don't they?
Dear God. So she was too old to remind you of the real Charlotte May. And that's why... This really isn't your first time.
The first time I did this, my hands were shaking. I was a mess, Mr. Conway. I'd have been embarrassed just to be in your presence.
You sound as though she means nothing to you.
Epa, estamos la voz.
She means everything to me.
Me encanta cómo le hicieron los
You
gestos.
lost your mind.
I think our little talk is over, Mr.
Por lo que entiendo, él perdió a la hija y secuestra nenas hasta que dejan de parecer nenas.
Leave me no choice.
Como para compensar ese vacío.
I don't think you will kill me. You didn't tie that little girl up for no reason. If you were simply a murderer, you wouldn't have left her alive down there. There has to be something more to you.
What makes you so sure?
I think you wanted to see her as Charlotte May. You wanted to believe it, right up until the end.
Well, you've got it all figured out, haven't you?
What happened to the real Charlotte May?
You have a daughter, Mr. Conway.
Mira qué
You know how
pompis.
it is.
Mira las pompis del viejo.
It's your responsibility. Your duty to protect them, no matter what.
Tony, what happened?
I must have left the balcony door unlocked. I took my eyes off her for just a second. We lived on the 5th floor.
Un accidente.
Tony, I'm so sorry. Perhaps we should talk about it. You
No.
tell me about her.
No, nos va a cagar matando. No sé qué hay ahí, pero nos va a cagar matando.
I don't think so, Mr. Conway. I've complimented you on your intellectual prowess. Please don't insult mine.
Fine. Where is the girl now?
She's quite safe.
Ah, bueno, está viva, eso es bueno. O sea, él fue donde la secuestró. ¿Dónde están sus padres? A ver. Habían pasado 14 años de cuando... Me parece que si nos basamos en el principio del juego donde secuestró a alguien, creo que habían pasado 14 años hasta que nos situamos en este momento. Así que ninguna de estas preguntas me interesa. Pero bueno, tengo que hacer una. ¿Dónde la secuestró? ¿Dónde están sus padres?
Mr. Morgan, at least tell me, what's the girl's real name?
Sophie Marling, if I recall. It was all over the papers, although I tried not to look. Funny. It made the front page for a week. 1 week, Mr. Conway. Then I think some football team won a game somewhere and the world moved on. Makes you think, doesn't it?
What would the real Charlotte May think of you?
You won't speak her name again.
Do you think she'd be proud of what you've done?
Please. Stop.
What about this girl? Everyone's looking for her. You can't get away with this.
Mr. Conway. You've
Bueno,
already
gente.
refused Shirley.
Me parece que vamos a tener que pelear. Me parece que vamos a tratar de defendernos.
Find you.
A ver.
Now, please stop. You're beginning to make me rather uncomfortable.
Jesus. You wouldn't want her to remember you this way.
None of that matters. Now, please, try to keep still.
No. No.
Please, don't do this. You're a reasonable man, Mr.
Dale, deja de defenderme.
I want to do this.
Believe me,
Oh, no, 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 no,
I
no.
tried to change what I am, but I can't.
Dale, dale, déjame defender.
Mr. Morgan,
¿Ah, tocaron la
I
puerta?
would very much like to speak with you.
For God's sake.
Uy, la hija. Ay, la con... Mierda.
Like father, like daughter. Not a word, Mr. Conway. The anesthesia should kick in shortly.
Si gritamos... Igual creo que dejé las cosas en la entrada.
Ah, hello, Mr. Morgan.
No.
I'm sorry to
Please,
trouble you, but I wondered
don't
if I
do
might
anything
speak-
to...
Ay, cuesta un huevo mover el mouse.
Your father?
Please, help me.
Are you expecting him?
I thought he might already
Catherine,
be here.
help me.
He said he was going to talk to you about Shirley Downs.
Ay, el mouse se mueve re
Come
errático.
in and talk
Save
more
yourself.
I'm not sure that.
It's him. It's him.
often. Okay, that's fine.
Please
I can
don't.
come back tomorrow.
You know what?
No, no te vayas.
Please don't hurt
Going
her.
on. I'm not.
Salvame, cagalo a tiro.
I'm back
I
here.
think that would be a
Help.
good idea. Tomorrow morning.
Please help me.
Lunchtime, perhaps.
If you think it can wait until then, I'm
I'm
sorry to
back
bother you
here.
so late.
Help.
Please don't apologize. We'll talk tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Wait,
What is it?
if you haven't seen my father, then why is this camera in your
Ah, se dio cuenta. Vamos, carajo.
bag?
Dale, por favor. Salvame.
Mr. Morgan?
Uy, la puta madre. Bueno. Igual mucho no podemos hacer, ¿eh? Por favor, que no se escuche tanto el teclado, que no se escuche tanto el teclado. Dale, 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 dale. Vamos, vamos, Catherine. Dale, no nos podemos. Poco más, poco más, poco más, poco más. Igual no podemos hacer una mierda. Estamos re sedados. Estamos reídos. No, listo, cagamos. A ver qué pedo. ¿Estamos muertos? ¿No estamos muertos? El viejo siempre fumando, me encanta. Ambulancia. Parece que estamos vivos, ¿eh? La ambulancia y la silla de ruedas, algo que sea para el FEN. Ah, estamos vivos, estamos vivos. Arresto de Tony Morgana. Asumo que tenemos que hablar con él porque lo tenemos al lado.
Do you know where Catherine is?
Ah, ¿está viva? A ver, a ver. Ah, esto es la entrada. Pensé que estábamos al revés. ¿Está viva? Vamos.
Catherine,
Dad, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Uy, mira la cara.
You are. I thought the worst.
I did too. What happened here? I mean, what on earth did I walk into?
If I'm honest, I'm still trying to figure that out myself.
Shirley was telling the truth.
It appears so.
We searched the house. We'd ruled him out.
Is he...
No, he's alive. He's been taken to the station. We want to know if he's done this before.
I'm afraid you won't like the answer.
Oh my God.
Bueno, pero tenemos el nombre de la otra nena.
And you.
It could have been either one of us.
Miren la cara, la cagó a palo, parece.
Dad, listen,
No, Catherine, I'm sorry.
I am too. It's funny, I came back tonight because part of me knew I should have listened to you, but I just wanted to prove to myself that I didn't need any help.
The apple hasn't fallen far from the tree. I need to ask, did you find Charlotte May?
Ay, decime que sí. Decime que sí, por favor.
Me.
Bien.
Charlotte, this man is Robert Conway.
Bien, está viva.
Days.
Are you okay, my dear? You're safe now. You don't need to be scared anymore. Catherine here is going to take good care of you.
I'll just be a moment. I'll come back. Don't worry.
Bueno, por lo menos está viva. ¿Dónde mierda habrá estado? Porque si la sacó de la casa de la vieja...
She hasn't said a word since we found her. She thought that Tony Morgan was her real father.
Claro, la secuestraron de chica.
No,
It doesn't bear thinking about.
So, what do we do now? She doesn't have a home.
Oh, that reminds me. Her real name is Sophie Marling. You can look through the papers or make some calls for that name over the past few years.
That's a great place to start.
Logro desbloqueado,
Imagine
Marley.
you'll want to come along and help.
No.
No, quiero descansar un rato.
It's best to leave this up to the professionals.
I'd like it if you were by my side.
I'd like that too.
Bueno, parece que se termina. Realmente me gustó. Realmente lo disfruté mucho. Estuvo bastante complicado en ciertos momentos. Es largo, eso está bueno porque hace valer lo que pagás por el juego. Así que, salvo que haya una escena más, nos despedimos. Gracias por seguir la serie. Recuerda, si te gusta este contenido, puedes suscribirte, dejar un me gusta, un comentario, te seguir en nuestras redes sociales. Chao.
Bueno, eso fue todo por hoy. Si les gustó el video, no se vayan sin dejar su like y suscribirse. También pueden seguirnos en nuestras redes sociales. Nos vemos la próxima.